Hello and welcome to The Voice. My name is Joseph Salama. I'm an editor, and we are here today with Freddy Mora, candidate for Director of Diversity Efforts with Huskies United. Thank you for taking a couple of moments out of your day to come and sit with us.
No, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just leap right into it.
Sure.
What experiences do you have with working with minority groups, both on campus and off campus?
So, I first started getting involved with the Q Center. I got involved with the organization called QPOCA, Queer People of Color. And with that, I then, the following year, became a facilitator for the group and kind of like the co-facilitator. And then Dr. Sheila Edwards-Lane came to us and she said that she likes the work that she sees us do and wants to have our voice be heard on the Student Advisory Board for the Office of Minority Affairs and have a permanent seat there. Mm-hmm. And we gladly jumped on board with that because it was a good opportunity to kind of also connect the Q Center with the Ethnic Cultural Center. So then, as soon as I got involved with the Student Advisory Board, I loved what they did and I wanted to be a part of it in a more greater sense. So then I ran for vice chair of the Student Advisory Board, and then I got that.
Nice.
So with that, I work with Dr. Sheila Edwards-Lang in the Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity to ensure that the Student Advisory Board well reflects all campus communities on campus, especially with the underrepresented communities. So with that, I ensure that all the appointed chairs are there and present at our board, and that there's fluid communication, as well as our general meetings. I ensure that we get students from outside of the community to be aware of what the Student Advisory Board does and come out. So even though the Women's Center isn't permanently on the Student Advisory Board, I make sure that there's communication with the Women's Center and the Ethnic Cultural Center, and like, hey guys, we would love for you guys to come out, see what we do, and if you guys have any concerns that you guys would like to raise with us that we can help, we can work together on, and that'd be great. Mm-hmm. And we've got them to come out, the GPSS secretary to come out, and other commissioners to come out to the Student Advisory Board that aren't necessarily there. Mm-hmm. And I also work with other underrepresented communities on campus that deals with the colleges. Mm-hmm. I have a friend on IE racism from the information school that I work with. I also am a part of Alpha, Hispanic Business Association. And with that, I work with the underrepresented community in the business school to promote networking and opportunities that other students that are represented don't usually have resources to. And I also work with some academic advisors in the business school to ensure that there is great networking, and we're doing what we do with Alpha, we're doing it in the most successful way possible.
Yeah, excellent. What do you believe should be the goal of the Director of Diversity Efforts?
I believe that the goal of the Director of Diversity Efforts should be to promote diversity in the most genuine and truest meaning possible. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is, you ask a lot of students on campus, what does diversity mean to you, or how do you picture diversity? A lot of students say a campus filled with different races or ethnicities on campus, which is true. That's one way of looking at it, but that's not the only way. And I don't want that to be always the first and only way of thinking about diversity. I also want students to know that diversity means much more than that. It means gender, orientation, cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic classes. It means abilities, beliefs, religions. So all these other aspects of diversity that isn't always brought up is diversity, and create such a more enriched community and academic environment for these students. And that's what I want to promote as a Director of Diversity Efforts, and ensure that that's not only instilled in a social sense, but also in an academic sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one's a little bit more geared towards the historical perspective of the Director of Diversity Efforts. So please discuss 2 criticisms you have for either the current or former Director of Diversity Efforts, and explain what you have done differently if you were in their shoes at that time.
Sure. So I guess the first criticism would be not enough communication with all the entities on campus. Mm-hmm. Of course, I've been involved with the Q Center since my freshman year, and one thing that I've noticed is that the previous diversity effort directors hasn't been really as actively involved with the Q Center, and that's what I really wish I would have seen. Also, more show facing at all these other events that are on campus that I go to. Some of them have been really great, and I would have wished to see the director of diversity efforts there. Mm-hmm. And also, I guess the second criticism, kind of building off of what I just said, is a balance of ensuring that there is communication and reaching out to the various entities on campus. So there is, the Ethnic Cultural Center, there is the Women's Center, there is the Q Center, and of course, since more commissioners are involved with the Ethnic Cultural Center, there's going to be a heavier effort to show face and be involved with the Ethnic Cultural Center, but at the same time, there shouldn't be also so much disconnect with these other entities on campus, and communities and community resource centers. Mm-hmm. And that right there, I do want to ensure that I am very active with the Women's Center and the Q Center and all these other entities, even the Students with Disabilities Resource Centers. And they're showing that I do support them, I do want to be involved with them, and ensuring that we are working on the same meaning of diversity and promoting that within our communities. So it's a matter of ensuring that all communities on campus are touched base on and at the equal, at equal levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And devotion and determination and going so about reaching out to them. So
yeah. This is a little bit more of a touchy subject. It comes up due to the fiscal climate of our
right.
of the university and of ASCW as a whole. That looking forward as a result of our budget crisis as a state, a university, and as SAO, if it were asked upon you to make budget cuts with the commissioners and when your role with working with them on their budget cuts, how would you go about that process, and what is the ultimate goal of the relationship between the BOD and the commissions?
Right. So, of course, things are always changing. We can't predict what's going to happen in the upcoming year to the T. Mm-hmm. But with that, I want to ensure that, again, communication is key, and I want to not only work with my 8 commissioners, but also work with my current director of community relations and other directors on the board of directors, mm-hmm. and see how should we approach these budget cuts? How should we approach cutting certain things that we are so used to having? Mm-hmm. And one thing I don't want to do is make a decision for someone without that communication. That is completely the wrong way of going about it. And I want to speak with each commissioner and make sure, first of all, we're on the same page as far as these budget cuts and as far as our goals on what we want to do and the way we want to promote our own cultural backgrounds and our own true diverse community on campus. So it's a matter of sitting down with each and every one alone and together and seeing what do we want to do in the future. Some things are going to get cut, so we have to see at the moment what is very important. It might be a matter of prioritizing, which is sad to say because we want to do all we can for our students and keep on doing them in the same way we have been doing it in the past. But if some things have to change, it's a matter of ensuring that we're all on the same page and ensuring that there is communication and also ensuring that they can trust me on my word and building that trust that I would never go against my own word of, oh, we're going to cut this, but in the end, I'm going to make another decision that they aren't aware of. This is certainly not the time to make decisions for one another, especially when, for example, the ASCW and the commissioners, there has been some disconnect. I want to build that communication again, and I want to ensure that we are, again, all on the same page on this. And right now, I see student advocacy as a main goal, and that right there is going to take some funding. For example, going to Olympia and doing events to raise awareness in terms of the budget cuts and tuition increases. So that right there I can see as something that shouldn't be cut in terms of funding and promoting those, for example, events and trips to down Olympia, that I do want to get the commissioners involved in. But also when doing that, I want to ensure that that's what the commissioners want to do. So again, ensuring that we're on the same page of what we want to do with these budget cuts.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's all we have time for, but I wanted to thank you for coming out and answering a few questions that we had, and on behalf of the writers and the editors and such. We're very excited to have you just come out.
Sure. Thank you for having me.